All right, we should be good to go. Do you mind checking back on the audio to see if we're good?
Yeah.
Oh wow, this eBay seller wants to give me a 15% discount.
Talking, and I keep talking.
Definitely keep talking while I sign up for this main scenario here. How long it's going to take? Less than 5 minutes. Really interesting.
Yeah, I can. I think, I can hear myself fine.
Can you hear me at least? Am
Yeah,
I
no,
good?
you too.
Yeah?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, cool. Gonna like that. Let me just share it out real quick and then let's get started. So entertain the people.
I will entertain the people, letting them know that it is Saturday, 16th, and we're gonna talk about some absentees today. Gonna be marking them on the roll book. That's I don't know. That's a minus gold star for someone. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Hope everyone's having a great Saturday so far. Not much happened, but we got some little things to talk about. Maybe just have some good old fashioned fun. Maybe a little bit of smoke for someone. I don't know. We'll see. See if this person can handle all the smoke. Am I right? Dance, monkey, dance. And we are here. That's a yawn. Oh man. Gonna be
Okay.
okay.
We are good to go. Let me just tweet this or retweet. Tweet.
Retweet, tweet.
Retweet the tweet.
Tweet.
Alright, there we go. I have my coffee too, by the way, so I'm pumped. I'm ready to go. I know I don't sound it, but it's because it's Saturday. It's been a long week, man. It's been a long week.
It's been a doozy. It's been a long week personally, but not so much gamely. Not too many games.
All right, my man. You ready to get started?
Ready?
All right, let's kick it off. What's going on, everybody? To the oh wow, look at this dungeon I just got into. Sweet, this is a dungeon I don't really have to do anything in. Welcome everybody to the 33rd episode of the DualShock Sense Podcast. I am your host, the King of Kingdom Hearts and the Final Fantasy fanatic, Macho, joined here by my everlasting Boricua brother, Walt. How's it going?
How's it going, y'all? Only the king slash fanatic and the manga maniac, and we're missing
Right.
one.
We're missing our one musketeer, well, as they'll say.
Yeah.
Our Huey, Dewey, and Louie, right? We're missing our Huey.
That Huey is ducking. He really ducked himself.
I don't know. I think from what we gathered, right, is that he stumbled out of the strip club again.
And man fell into the trash bags on the side, and he's just laying there, just chilling, waiting for that Uber.
I think so. He's probably in that. You see that gold frog suit that's on the screen right now? He's probably in that. I think he might have showed up in that, and they tried to kick him out. But the thing is, he wasn't having it, right? So what he was telling me in the DMs at least, and I can neither confirm nor deny whether he actually sent these DMs. But either way, he stumbled out. He went to the gold frog suit, and he decided that he was going to try and pick up some person named Alexis Texas, I guess you could say.
Alexis Texas.
Yeah, that's what he said. That's what he threw out, and he's ended up getting kicked out, and he eventually got into some trouble, got into some trash bags, and I think he's still looking for his lost pin that he had like on his gold suit. So
Oh no!
yeah, he said he wasn't probably going to be in the
Like
podcast.
politician pin.
Politician. No, in all seriousness though, yeah, it's don't know. We have a lost member of the podcast, but either way, we're gonna give you guys a good show. Yeah, and hopefully Jay's okay.
Yeah. Jay, if you're watching this, if you got to watch this, hope you're doing well, man.
We're here for you, buddy. But yeah, we have a good show for you guys. It's probably going to be a shorter show than usual. I mean, we'll see. Me and Walt can definitely talk up a storm.
Yeah.
But in any case, yeah, we have a couple of topics on deck for you guys. Not much really happened during the week, honestly. It was pretty slow. It was kind of like one of those slow weeks in October where you're just waiting for stuff to happen, in all honesty. But regardless, some stuff did happen, Walt. And I think we're going to start with what we've been playing, and what we've been up to during the week in terms of on your PS5 or, whatever you're playing. So what you got for us?
Well, this week, not much gaming on multiple areas, just on one console. I've been touching my Switch more.
Whoa,
and
pause.
Hey man, that Switch, it gotta switch it up every now and then. They know it, and it appreciates the caress. And the touch.
Hey, you're right. I just say if you handle it right, it'll treat you right.
Oh, absolutely. It's been treating me right with Metroid Dread, which I hear you've also been touching on your end.
So you picked up Metroid Dread then?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, sweet. All right, cool. Yes, talk about it.
It so far, I have. It's a very fast-paced game. I think I can officially say this is my first Metroid. I haven't really played any other Metroid ever, although I do have my SNES Classic with Super Metroid in it. I haven't really touched it. I've played other games aside from it. But in this case, it is. I've always played Metroidvanias, Hollow Knight, Ori. I've played Bloodstained, and some Castlevanias. But I've never played a Metroid game, and I am not too deep into it yet. I'm still getting used to it, getting used to the map, getting used to the enemies and the mechanics of it all. Because it's a fast-paced game. Samus moves fast. Like I didn't expect her to just. When you walk, you don't walk. You're dashing around, and I mean it makes sense. She's a bounty hunter. She wants to get shit done. But so far, it's interesting because the enemies the first enemy that you officially encounter that is an actual threat, you absolutely cannot do any damage to it. So it's interesting just finding ways to avoid and just platform as you're discovering new ground. Because I'm not too familiar with the area yet, so as I'm escaping death, I'm also getting familiar with my surroundings, and it's a fun game. I'm having a blast. It's a lot of things coming together that I really appreciate. So we'll see in a week when I get more into the weeds of it, see how it turned out. But so far I'm having a blast. But other than that, I haven't really played anything else this week. But you did mention that on the Switch or Nintendo Spectrum, you got some stuff to talk about, so I can't wait to hear about that. Why don't you tell the people too?
Yeah, might as well, right? So I have sold my old Switch.
Dang.
I am giving up on the Switch. I'm giving up on Nintendo's 2017's console. It's trash. I hate it.
Get that shit out of here.
Only because I love the OLED Switch, man. I picked that up during the week, and I love it. It's fantastic. It is a worthy purchase. So the whole conundrum that I was going with, getting a Switch, my excuse for getting a Switch or OLED Switch was because I could sell my old one to GameStop and get some decent money out of it. I told you before, I already told you in the DMs, I got at least $260 for my old Switch. So I basically borrowed it for $40 for the past 3 or 4 years.
That's a steal.
Right. The only thing is I couldn't get the OLED Switch at GameStop. I actually ended up getting it at Best Buy. So I still sold my old Switch in a couple of games, and I got at least $300 for everything. So all that money's going to go towards games I was going to get anyway, right? Kena, Elden Ring, all that stuff. Lo and behold, I actually picked up 2 games during the week with that credit. I ended up picking up Scarlet Nexus and
on the PS5.
Yeah, on PS5. Yep. And I ended up buying Metroid Dread.
Ooh.
Now, I want to get more into Metroid Dread, but I'll talk a little bit more about the console experience or the handheld experience here. Because, yeah, honestly, if you're not a handheld user, right, for the Switch, this is a completely meaningless buy. Unless you just want, like, a new updated dock, which, you know, is rumored to have, like, some updates that can be added to it. Like, the same way Switch had, like, randomly Bluetooth added in. But other than that, it's a fantastic handheld just because the screen honestly makes all the difference when you're handheld gaming. It made the difference on PS Vita with the OLED Switch, and it certainly does make a difference with the OLED Switch here. Yeah, it's night and day difference between the 2017 version and the one we got this year.
Okay, when being handheld, of course.
When being handheld, yes, yeah. The screen makes all the difference. And absolutely the kickstand, man. The kickstand was one of the things I hated about the OG Switch.
Yeah.
It was just...
It's really weak.
To put case in point, to wrap it up in a nice bow, it's super weak, right? But this one here, it's way more rigid. It's not clicky. It's like way more of like a hard push to actually get into the stand that you want.
Right.
But you can put it into any like form. Like you can actually extend the stand out to have it facing more low. You can, make it like a medium like size, I guess. Where I'm losing my words here, but you can basically just make it into any sort of like landscape that you want, which is really cool because I definitely am in those situations where I'm at my desk, so I need like the stand a little lower, or maybe if I have a little stand, I could have the stand a little higher so that I can actually see more of the screen. So as a handheld experience, it's perfect.
Yeah, it's adjustable. It's
perfect. Yeah,
you can adjust it in different angles.
Yeah, right? Yep. See, yeah. Thank you for that's why I need you on this podcast, man. You help me fill out my senses.
No. I was also like, I heard you, and I'm like, the word. What was the word? I know what he's looking for.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's my situation. I did mention last podcast that I am thinking about it now. Here's the thing, thinking about purchasing something, that's already like huge for me, because I don't even consider it if I'm not like even remotely interested in it. That's why like I never was interested in the Xbox Scorpio back when I had an Xbox One, because honestly I didn't really need it. Everything I could do was on the Xbox One, and I didn't care for performance. It was during the time where I hadn't really experienced 4K yet or anything. So in this case, I really need to measure the necessity that I have with my Switch, which currently I use it more dock than I do handheld, but there could be a time where like I decide to use it more handheld and I get to game more because I'm out of my room. I don't know, I'm around the house. 'Cause that's a huge difference, just having it around the house, and I don't know, I want to go to the living room or something and not just stay locked in my room. So I probably do the same as you and trade in mine, because it will make no sense to have 2 Switches. But again, I'd have to think about it, because the Switch I have, it's the Mario Odyssey edition, which I appreciate a lot, but I don't know if I appreciate it enough where it merits me keeping it when I can have like an upgrade. But again, it depends.
Yeah, you have a bit of conundrum with you then, because it's the same with like it depends, I guess, with your affinity for Mario Odyssey and that Switch, because the collector in you is like, man, you can't really find it anywhere else, and it's a nice Switch, but at the same time, it's not really doing anything for me, down the line.
Yeah, exactly. And there's an upgrade. Like there's a Switch out there that actually has an upgrade,
Yeah, and it's a worthy upgrade for a handheld user. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. There's benefits to it, and I don't know. I think once once I pick up my Switch like from the dock mode and I use it handheld and I start looking at like Metroid Dread on the handheld mode, I'll start imagining how it looks on the OLED, and then I might like be swayed more to do that move.
I'm
But
telling you,
for
it
the
makes
mo
all the difference. It makes all the
yeah,
difference. Yeah, even just playing like Great Ace Attorney, which like the colors pop and the background environments are really nice, and everything about that game is like visually appealing. And it
oh
was on the
man,
Switch, but like seeing it on like the OLED, but like the colors are even more pronounced, and
right.
the screen is just wider, and it just looks sleeker. Like the console just looks sleeker. Everything just looks like a nice, more packed presentation.
Right, right.
It's worth it. It's worth it. It doesn't feel and look like a toy anymore. It looks like a sleek like gaming handheld console.
That's the idea, right? That's to for it to feel like what. And if you're comparing it, you mentioned the Vita and you mentioned how this Switch does justice to that display because again, it is an OLED. I am I love my Vita. I love how it feels, how it plays. So having a Switch and dude, I I get to replay. I would definitely if I get a Switch OLED, I would definitely replay so many games. Like even Odyssey, I would go from the top and play Super Mario Odyssey and just see the beauty of that game in handheld OLED mode. That'd be
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. I'm looking forward to playing like I think my fiance, she has Breath of the Wild and stuff like that. So I'm kind of excited to
Ooh,
like boot that up just to see how it looks on the OLED. Because there's certain games I
dude.
have on Switch that I also have on PlayStation, like Child of Light, Guacamelee 2, a couple other like really like cherished indies that I have. I have both on PlayStation and Switch. So I just
Which
go to my PS5 if I want to like boot up Guacamelee, but like something like Mario Odyssey or even Xenoblade Chronicles and like even Metroid Dread, right? All that stuff you can only play on the Switch.
absolutely, dude. And you mentioned a game there that I usually don't hear people talk about it much. And I really want the people listening, if you haven't played it, Child of Light, that is a
Mm,
phenomenal game.
gem, gem,
It's
underrated
it's
gem.
it's it truly is an underrated gem, hidden gem. It's the most unknown gem because truly it you don't look at Child of Light like out of like just the cover and like get intrigued with playing it because it doesn't do anything mind blowing when you look at it. But when you play it, when you actually like get to know the characters, the music, the
Oh my god.
dang
Oh my god,
music
the
of that
music.
game,
Yeah, the music is
dude,
incredible.
it is phenomenal. And the story, it's a rhyme, right? It's like all dialogue is in rhyme. It's like poem, kind of like.
Yeah, which you
So
think would be annoying, after a
they
while.
do it well.
Yeah, it doesn't really overdo it. Like there's a magic to that game that can't really be explained unless you play it.
Absolutely, and like if y'all haven't played it, like definitely check out Child of Light. It's everywhere. It's on PC. It's on Switch. On PlayStation. I think it's also on. Is it on Xbox? It's on Xbox, right? Yeah.
I wouldn't see why not. Yeah, I wouldn't see why not.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a it's
Check
a
it
it's a
everywhere.
gem.
Like anywhere you most feel comfortable playing it. It definitely is a handheld type of game. So,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, if only Ubisoft would actually greenlight that sequel, but that's a whole other
oh
issue.
man.
But yeah, but back on the OLED Switch. It's fantastic. Yeah, I think it's a worthy upgrade. I'm really enjoying my time with it, and it plays great. And the only one thing for potential buyers, you might need to do a little research on like if you have a specific like attachment to your Switch because some things might not fit since the OLED Switch is a little like I think it's like a millimeter or something like that bigger than the original.
Mm-hmm.
But I had my original case and it fits in pretty perfectly. It's a tad snug, but not enough for it to be like I had to like struggle to get it out of the case. So
Okay, that's a good point. That actually I'm gonna be checking my because I have a little case, a little bag where I do carry my Switch if I'm going somewhere for a while or whatnot. So I'm
yeah,
gonna
if you have one that's like if like your Switch fits pretty snug in that one already, you might want to look into getting another one.
got it. Yeah, That's a good point. Yeah, I'm gonna look into that because I mean, there's so many accessories that one buys throughout the years when having a Switch because it is a mobile games, handhelds, console. So
Yeah, yeah, but your Hori Pad Pros will work on it. It works with mine. It is perfect. Obviously you get a screen protector for it.
Yeah, for
Even if
sure.
it has like the little like layer of protection. I think people were saying, I forgot like the actual like how it's actually protected the screen, but it's not like real protection. So definitely get a screen protector for it.
Okay, okay. I mean, hey, any console, any handheld console with a screen, that is, it doesn't matter if it's OLED or AMOLED, like a phone or not. What I hate about like some phones is the curved screen, so I can't really put a protective, like reliable, um, fiber. What do you call it?
Temper
Temper
glass?
glass.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I have on my Switch.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the one I have for my Switch, but on my phone, since I have an Android, the Android I have, it still has the curve, so it's annoying because it falls off. So I don't really have a cover for that. So I'm glad that the Switch OLED, I mean, it's gonna have a million different types of screen protectors, so that's good that I have the options.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
But
if you want a recommendation or if anyone else wants a recommendation, I literally buy it from the same product manufacturer. I bought it for the Switch. I bought it for my phone. I think I bought like one for iPad for my mother as well. But it's literally the same manufacturer. Like $10 for a pack of 3 screen protectors, and they're great. So
tight, tight,
yeah. So if anyone needs recommendations, just hit me up on Twitter. I'll link you.
for sure.
But with that
Yeah, but good
said,
stuff. That OLED.
with that said, Metroid Dread.
Ooh.
You gave a little bit of your impressions on your time. How much have you actually been? How long have you been playing it? Actually, I want to say. Do you know how many
Uh,
hours you put into it?
I put in cumulatively, I'm gonna say maybe 2 hours. Not much.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. What about
Okay.
you? What about you?
I got north of 3 hours. I think. I
Okay.
got it on Wednesday, so I put some time into it since then. And yeah, I agree with you 100% as far as like it's definitely like it's a speedy game, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's almost Sonic like in a sense.
Yep, that's a good point. Yep, it's tone it down with Sonic and you'll get Metroid Dread's just pace because it is fast. She moves fast. She's
Yeah,
athletic.
yeah. It's but the thing is too. I mean, how many bosses did you actually beat? Do you know? Did you beat one boss or two bosses? Like what's
I
the
think I
count
think I've
here?
beaten one. I think I've beaten one.
Okay, I just beat the third boss so far in my playthrough, but I got to the fifth or sixth area of the game.
Okay.
And it's definitely it's you move fast for a reason because you're going to be doing a lot of backtracking and just going really back and forth between these different areas. But I love how it kind of breaks the mold a little bit with its platforming and its Metroidvania s, where because usually like in Metroidvanias you go from you explore one area then you eventually you're gonna go back to that area, but
Mm-hmm.
Metroid Dread makes it sure that like it definitely breaks my expectations where like I feel like I should be exploring this area more, but it wants to teleport me to the next area pretty quickly anyways. And
Okay.
you just gotta go with the flow. You just gotta go with it. So whenever I'm going to room to room to room to room to room, and it wants to teleport me to the third area or to the second area, I'm like, okay, cool. And then eventually, I just stumble upon my path there. So you just really just got to
Okay.
go along for the ride in that sense where you don't have to worry about like but I want to get more to this area or I want to see this area a little more. Like no, just go with it because eventually you're going to get like all those abilities where you're going to go back to those areas you wanted to go to initially,
Right.
and you're going to have all new abilities to find all the secrets and the changes and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So
Okay.
with that pacing, I love it. I think it's a fantastic game. It's one of my favorite Metroidvanias that I've played so far, and it makes me wish Nintendo would just really make Metroid a cash cow franchise because
Absolutely.
Samus, dude, is just a badass.
Dude, I love how
She's
seamless the
so
cutscenes
cool.
are when when you like go up a I don't know, like a platform, and boom, you get a cutscene and an event happens, and then it transitions immediately into gameplay. Like it's also so
Cinematic.
so cinematic, and just as fast as you walk through the map, that's how fast she reacts when getting attacked or like when engaging an enemy in a cutscene, because she doesn't hold back. Like if an enemy starts attacking her, you'll see her jump up, shoot this rock, falls on the enemy's head. She grabs the enemy, pulls it on the ground, and blasts the head away. Like she is on top of shit, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is too, when you get more into the game, and you fight the other bosses, or you come across different cutscenes, you will see how much of a badass. She carries her own. You know what I mean? Like, excuse my vulgarness. She has big dick energy. like you can see in the way she carries herself, and the way like she's so sure of like her abilities and what she can do, which rightfully so, right? Because
She's doing this for a while.
she's been doing this for a while. She's a veteran, right? And it's also like a master stroke on Nintendo's part here of the silent protagonist being the absolute best.
Oh, absolutely. Because usually, the only I don't have many memorable like experiences with a silent protagonist. Like, and I mean to the T, like silent. You don't even have dialogue options. The only one that I think about that is remotely like close to being, yeah, badass, I guess, in a way, but not in the Samus is a badass to where she carries her own, and she's assertive as hell. She's making those decisions, and she's doing things how they should be. But when I think about like Dead Space, you don't see Isaac Clarke like deciding to do something. He's always being instructed by someone. He's being told by his colleague on the interface, like, oh, you need to blow up this hive, or oh, you need to check out the medical area and get these supplies. Like, you don't see him making decisions. But with Metroid Dread, it's interesting because Samus, even though you're controlling Samus, she's making those decisions. You can see her like, yeah, I meant to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, as I'm saying, like in different cinematics, you're gonna see that. You're gonna be like, oh my god, we need a Metroid
Absolutely.
movie or something, because like this girl is
dude.
like this Space Ranger is awesome. Like she is super cool.
Which, not to go on that tangent, but like quick pitch, who would you cast as like Samus? Like out the top of your head, who you see in that suit?
That's a good question.
If not, we can simmer on that, and we can like pitch that again when Jay's here and like next week. And
I need a simmer on that one.
Death.
I need a simmer on that
There's
one because there's quite a couple in my head, but I can't pinpoint names right now, so I need to look it
It's a
up.
big role. It's a big role. I can imagine Hollywood just going like how they did with Ghost in the Shell. I know Jay would be so pissed because like I know he didn't. I don't know if he dislikes the actor per se, but I know that Ghost in the Shell wasn't like a true Ghost in the Shell live action adaptation. It was more like its own thing.
Yeah.
So like I can see Hollywood going like, Samus, oh, just put ScarJo in there. You know, like I can
No,
see
honestly.
which is not a bad pick because she is a badass, but like,
Yeah.
do people not would people be like, I mean, but she's in everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, let's see the first two that come to mind. Nicole Kidman,
Ooh.
because
Okay.
her face and her eyes, like she has such an expressive face.
Yeah.
And
she has
that's really all you need with Samus. At least like for like maybe like a movie or even Metroid Dread, you don't really see like her face. You see her eyes and her expressiveness in all 720p glory. But you still see like she's like really expressive when they show like her eyes and stuff like that. And Nicole Kidman is like a master for that. The only person
Absolutely.
that I can like contend with for her would be Kate Beckinsale.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. You see, but that's like, they took their time to like think about it, and then they were like, okay, I know who we can cast. When I think about, live action adaptations, and I think Monster Hunter, it's like, how did we like not that Mia Jovovich, not that she's a bad pick, but like the movie itself, it didn't click the way a Monster Hunter movie should have clicked. So like when thinking about a video game adaptation, in this case being a female lead, I don't know why in my mind I'm like, they're probably gonna go with ScarJo, and I'm not like slandering her because she's a great actor. Like I like her and her stuff, but I don't know, like it feels too easy, you know?
Yeah. I know. That's why like Nicole Kidman kind of stands out to me.
Yeah, and that's a good pick, honestly. That is a great pick. But we'll go on more into that like maybe next week or when Jay's here, and we can go more into that.
Yeah.
We can go cast that and talk more about like just live action adaptations in general. That's a good topic for a later podcast.
That is a good topic, actually. That'd be a good one. We'll definitely keep it in our back pocket for when we have slow weeks like this one. But I mean, regardless, yeah. So the other element of Metroid Dread that I'm really surprised by, and I absolutely love, and it's something that you've probably been seeing like very, very little of because since you're just started, but you can get hints and bits and pieces of it. Is the horror aspect of it?
Yes.
It's so Resident Evil.
It's very Resident Evil, and it's not obvious. Because just like Resident Evil, because when Resident Evil, you enter a hallway, right? You get the loading screen, the door opens, you go in there. There's no music, there's no indication, there's only growls. There's only like the presence of the entity, just like in Metroid Dread. When you enter, the film grain area, the more like there's no. It's just an indication. It's like a very low key, just of sound design of the area, but it's because the thing that's following you is a robot, and it's giving all these beeps and boops and all these.
Yeah, it's a killer robot. Just looking for you.
It's a killer robot, and you only hear the scanner. There's no like indication that you're dying, that you're gonna die. You just hear the scanner and like the radar around it, and as soon as it sees you, you'll feel it. You do feel the danger, the urgency.
Yeah, you know? My heart starts racing. Absolutely.
And that's what you want, you know? You don't want to be like, oh, I can just juke it and just do this and that. No, it's like, it keeps you on the edge. And that makes sense why she moves so fast as well, because they don't mess around. They're not slow.
Yeah. Let's talk about that crazy timing for the parries, right? That is such a hard luck timing. I was like, all right, I gotta practice this. So I kept dying in the first part over and over and over just to time it, and you really can't, man. Like you're just gonna be beating your head against the wall. You really had to base it on luck and just rapid response of whether you can actually counter this robot or not. And every time and at first I was like, oh, why would they do that? And after I kept playing it, and I'm like, I get it. I get it. because once you actually do counter the thing, after your heart's racing, you finally get caught, and then oh god, I got to counter, and then once you do it, and you feel so accomplished, and you just got away by literally a thin hair's you just got away. And you're trying to figure out where to go next after you counter it. There's nothing else like it that feels like that.
It's rewarding as heck, and it make even the game with the computer Atom. Even it's like you have a 99% chance of dying when trying this.
Yeah.
So you literally have a 1% chance of being able to. It's a luck. It truly is, because with enemies you have an indication, right? It flashes. There's a flash. There's a
for the counter, yeah,
but with this robot with the Emmys, it's like you better hope you press that shit correctly.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm telling you,
exactly. You know? Yeah, they just get meaner and badder the more you go on, and it's Makes fantastic. Sense. Yeah, that's the other element of Metroid Dread that I'm really loving. And the thing is too, is there's one of the reasons why I think Metroidvanias in general just have some sort of magic to them of like the map design. I can't begin to fathom designing maps and in a Metroidvania. I really can't,
Right.
because the amount of like layers of depth and like this area is gonna unlock this area and this area is gonna unlock this area, and to make it like all feel intuitive and feel like you're discovering it and feels like, you know, it's to me it's magic. It's one of the reasons why I love like the old Resident Evil games too, or even Resident Evil 2 remake, because for some reason those games are sort of like Metroidvanias too in their own way, just 3D environments.
Yeah.
And like the way they just operate is just magic. And Metroid Dread has that magic where like even if you're stumbling upon stuff, you feel like you're discovering, you feel like you're making progress, and on top of that you're added like this extra horror element that feels very Resident Evil 2-ish, and but it feels different from other Metroidvanias that you've played. It's fantastic. I love it.
There's a peak in game design and in games that consist of one area, and again, Metroidvanias, yes, they have multiple, but when I mean one area, it's still one area. Why? Because when you play The Last of Us, once you beat an area, you don't go back there. You keep pushing, you keep moving forward. But in Metroidvanias, in Metroid, Castlevania, in Hollow Knight, in Ori, like, you have an area and you're staying in that area and you're just backtracking, going back and forth, and the area is always changing. And that's what's so magical when in Resident Evil you're playing, it's the first time, right? Now we know, now we know Resident Evil, like at least the remake, the original one, the OG one. You now know, what to expect from going deeper and deeper into the story. But back then, how the hell were you gonna know that you killed a zombie and it's not really dead? Once you get past a certain point, those zombies, if you didn't burn them, they're gonna get back up, and you're gonna have that same zombie walking in that same hallway. At one point you're gonna see hunters. At some point you're gonna see some bees. You're gonna see some spiders. Like, it's an ever-changing environment, but it stays the same at the same time. Just like Resident Evil 2 Remake. There's this hallway, there's no zombie, you kill it. You can go back and forth in that hallway, you're going to be good for the first 2, 3, 4 hours. 5th hour, there's 2 Lakers in that hallway. What are you going to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that type of game design that I absolutely love. That's Hollow Knight is so magical in that sense, because like after a certain point, there's a thing that's like corrupting the environment, and you see these blisters just appear throughout the whole map, these orange blisters.
Yeah.
And everything is corrupted. The enemies are tougher. It's amazing. It's incredible, and I love when games do that, whether that be in Resident Evil. So when you say Metroidvania, like kind of aspect, in my mind, I'm envisioning just a constant environment that is constantly evolving. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's addicting because like you love like you're curious about this new environment. So like you keep exploring, and then you find things new, and then you come across like, and the thing is like with Metroid Dread, you get that you get that in full spades. And when you come across these bosses, it's very old school like, where these bosses are like they feel larger than life, and like you're in them forever, but because it took a while to get there, and you have now this challenge to overcome. But that's where Metroid Dread is a little more forgiving, where like you do have your checkpoints, you have your wealth of save points. But when you come across those bosses, it's like, get ready, because you're in for a ride,
Yeah, and that's the idea, right? There was this who was it? I think it was David Jaffe. It was someone that mentioned how, why are we still, or no, it was Gary Whitta, I believe. He was talking about how, why are we still doing boss battles, right? How is that still like the end goal of a level of a video game? Whether that be like even from Last of Us to Metroid, you do have boss battles or like horde battles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's interesting because you mentioned how they feel larger than life, and I think that's the idea behind boss battles when done properly. Sometimes boss battles just feel like a big enemy with a big health bar and good luck. just hit away. But when it's done like Shadow of the Colossus style, when it is a challenge, it is an entity that reigns over everything else that you fought until now. When it is this just ultimate just peak of a predator that's roaming these vast lands, like in Link's the last not last fucking Breath of the Wild, when you're exploring the environment, there's no real boss. You have big enemies, you have stronger enemies, but when you go into these fortresses, into these dungeons, and you actually fight a boss, they don't even feel of this world. They're technologically advanced. They're flying. They're corrupted. You're like, what the hell? Like, this is a challenge, And I think Metroid, with just its enemies, with the Emmys, that's not even the boss. It's succeeding in that,
Yeah,
It's amazing.
And after a while, it does take a turn, and there actually is some story in it, and it's interesting.
Ooh.
So
Love it.
I'm loving my time on Metroid Dread. I can't wait to actually play more. I do need breaks from it every now and then because it does feel a little, not stressful, but like I'm always on the edge of my seat when I'm playing.
Heck yeah.
So I can't really just binge it, and I need I could do it for like a couple hours or an hour and a half to 2 hours, and I'm good, and I'll come back to it a little later.
And a quick thing, before we because we're already, we the podcast, we usually separate what we play from the topic, but in this case we're merging the two because the topics do involve things that we played, like the OLED and Metroid. But to add to that, because I did play like an hour of a demo of a game. You spoke of horror. Tormented Souls, I believe, is the name of the game, and it's on PlayStation. And it is an homage to old school, like Resident Evil survival horror, fixed camera angles and just ever evolving. Speaking of evolving environments, I gave it it was a night, and I was playing it. I was like forcing myself to play it because I was like, I downloaded it, I want to try it, but I wasn't really in the group. But I'm gonna try it again, talk about it more next week maybe, as we're getting near Halloween. Because thinking about it in hindsight, there's some promising things about that game, but there are also some things that are frustrating as hell. Like, save point was so far, and the combat is a bit janky. So when you die out of bullshit and you have to go back like a half hour's worth of work, it can get frustrating. So I'm like, I need to be in the mindset to talk about it more, but just know that I want to. Oh, and the list of horror games, I'm gonna have that ready for next podcast when Jay's here, because I didn't get to say it for today to give y'all a game to play for horror. But I'll do that. I'll do that later.
Yeah, I mean, my mind just be Metroid Dread. Honestly, that game is that game is definitely horror, and I'm playing through the Castlevania games, and yeah, to be honest with you guys, I wouldn't be going through those Castlevania games if it wasn't for that quick save feature, because those games are hard as balls, dude.
Let me tell you, man.
Especially Castlevania 3. The Castlevania 3 has a dumb difficulty spike, like the last third of the game, and man, I was quick saving like crazy. I ended up beating the game still, but like I definitely abused that quick save feature because it was definitely just kicking my ass. But great game. But yeah, Castlevania 3 was like one of the hardest ones I played so far.
Dude, those games are so like old school hard. There's old school hard, but like sometimes it's so not fun. Castlevania, at least, it's fun.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's so fun.
And it's an interesting concept in of itself, and it's a formula done well. But when a game is hard, old school hard, and it's just, goddamn, no, like
it's
Crash.
It's challenging, but at the same time, I'm having a lot of fun.
Rewarding.
Yeah, it's completely rewarding. Yep.
It's a balance you have to strike that not all games, like. At least for us, I don't know you, but like Dark Souls, it's like the perfect blend of that of hard. It can get hard, but the reward, oh my God, that defeat, that it feels all the sweeter when you succeed in that. But some games, when you beat a game that's hard and you don't even feel rewarded, that's the worst kind of game. I don't.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I don't get from the Castlevania games, surprisingly. But also at the same time, I think that's because I'm not backtracking 100,000 times after I die. So
Yeah,
I
no.
think that's a big part of it too. So
Absolutely. Yeah, Metroid Dread, man.
yeah, no,
Dread's
yeah.
amazing.
So Metroid Dread, yeah. So back to Metroid Dread, yeah. It's fantastic. Definitely pick that game up. I think it's worth the price of entry, in my opinion.
Absolutely, I agree.
And yeah, so that's actually what are you talking about now? Let's talk about a little bit of Final Fantasy 14. Actually, well, is that it? That's all you've been playing?
Yeah. I haven't really touched much else. Just Metroid and a little bit of Tormented Souls.
Okay, yeah. So I guess I can get into a little bit what I've been playing besides Metroid Dread. So yeah, I mentioned before I picked up Scarlet Nexus on PS5. I ended up liking the game so much, Walt, that after
Dang.
putting 10 hours onto it on PC, I was willing just to get the PS5 game that actually runs at 4K 60 FPS, mind you,
Oh man.
on PS5, and I'm playing through it again. I'm playing through the first the first 6 chapters I stopped on PC, and I'm just gonna play on PS5 and get all the trophies, man. It's a really great game.
Yeah.
The story is good. The story is really good. I like it. It has some weird twists and turns by the time I get to like the 5th chapter and such like that. But like I'm along for the ride. Like I love this sci-fi adventure. I love these characters. The combat's really fun. Again, I don't think it's as fun as Tales of Arise, but regardless, it's like such a great game that I'm willing just to play it on PS5 and just go from there. It's honestly like hitting like my top favorite games of the year. It like don't be surprised if it's like in my top 5.
I mean, it in general, it's been a very, I'd say, not weak year, but definitely not as abundant as other years. And in this case, at least for me, and I've played games that haven't necessarily come out this year, and I'm like enjoying so much. But Scarlet Nexus coming out this year, and Tales of Arise, and it just got me in that JRPG mood, just hack and slash and anime mood. So, like, it's so fun. Once you play Tales of Arise, if it clicks, you itch for something not too different, but something a little bit, like Scarlet Nexus, that's also a bit familiar, like Tales of Arise, and it just clicks so well.
Yeah,
You
and it
know?
does. It does. I was saying before where I was going to play East 8, but it felt a little too similar to Tales of Arise.
Yeah.
Scarlet Nexus is definitely giving me that great palette cleanser, and
Heck
it's
yeah.
I can't wait to play a little more of it. I don't think I'm the thing is I'm not rushing these games either. Like I definitely want to like give it its time of day and just really enjoy it. So especially before all Endwalker comes out next month for me.
Absolutely, man. You gotta play
Yeah.
that Strangers of Paradise.
No, I deleted that. That's it. The thing is the trial already like finished. It was like only like a week trial, and I just realized it when they tweeted about it, and I was like, okay, well, we kind of missed out. Oh no, we missed out.
Oh no, really?
we missed out.
Oh, delete.
But yeah, so
Oh.
I've been playing Scarlet Nexus a little bit. So
Yeah.
my week's been Scarlet Nexus, Metroid Dread, and another great game, Waltz, that's absolutely capturing my heart and soul.
Which one?
Lost Judgment.
Oh man, them knuckles are getting on some.
Yeah, the Knuckles are getting on some bullies. That's right.
Oh man.
The Knuckles have been they've been redeemed. They are happy.
So legit, you can beat up some high schoolers?
Yeah, you're being on base like high school bullies that are kind of like tied to some nefarious gangs. Yeah,
Dang, like Yakuza and such?
yeah, essentially.
Damn.
But yeah, I mean
Okay.
the things I played Judgment 1. Have you played Judgment 1 by any chance?
I have, yeah. I'm actually, I didn't play this week, but I am getting through it.
Okay, so yeah, so the thing is like with Judgment 1 was that I liked it, but I wouldn't play it again. Like
Oh, okay.
I had my fill with it, and I thought it was good for what it was, and it was a great story. Love the characters, but I didn't feel compelled to keep really keep playing, or even to like pick up the PS5 version.
Okay.
But with Lost Judgment, man, it is like flipping the script. It's like a 180. Like it answers like all of my not answers, but like it can completely resolve like all of my problems I had with the first one with story pacing, and even some dialogue here and there, and just like basically how the world's presented to you and like why you should like care about keeping exploring and getting invested, and even doing like all the mini games that seem pointless but are still a lot of fun.
Right.
Law's Judgment just completely eradicates like all my worries with that from the first game.
Dang.
I love the story. The characters are great. The mystery that's going around with like these high schoolers and how it ties to Yagami, and really like what's going around with this other parent that was arrested for he it was in the beginning of the game. He was arrested apparently for groping a woman like on a train station, but
Okay.
it actually turns out that he might be tied to this murder that's actually tied to this previous high school bully or alleged high school bully that and the killers or the guy's son. Like it's crazy. I don't want to get too crazy into it, that's why I'm being super vague on it. But
Right.
regardless, like there's like a lot going on here, and it's a ton of fun just to like see it kind of all unravel and where it's gonna go next. And on top of that, like the side content is really good too. Like it's actually a lot of fun, and the characters are great. I'm really enjoying my time with Lost Judgment. I put about maybe 8 hours into it so far, and 6 of those hours were in one day because I just kept playing.
Dang.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun. So it's one of those games I'm gonna be playing for quite a bit, because from what I hear, it's like a good like 20 to 30 hour game. But with all the stuff
Oh.
that you can do in the game, it's I'm gonna be playing for a long time.
It still has the Yakuza mini games like mahjong and poker and all that.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know about poker. I know it has mahjong. I know it has like its own version of chess. I forgot what it was called. I think like it was. I think shogi. Yeah, shogi.
Yeah.
It's like its own version of chess, basically. And obviously, like the Sega, arcade games has, Sonic.
Hell yeah, dude.
Has Sonic
What,
Fighters in it, and Sonic Fighters is dope, man.
it's
Sonic Fighters is so much fun.
how much these games have, like, even though they're so, because again in Japan you can go to actual arcades that have these like just so many dozens upon dozens of machines that are like from old video games and old school just arcade machines. So it's nice that you get to explore those through a video game, the closest we can get to like being on the streets of Japan from the comfort of your own home, the closest. Because unless you're playing Shenmue, and Shenmue's not even like that, it's not being Japan, but it is close to more, Asian culture, and you experiencing it through a video game. Again, the Yakuza franchise being set in Japan is a bit more. It exaggerates a lot of stuff, obviously, like the Yakuza and how, nefarious their deals are and whatnot, when in reality, it's different. But it's so nice that you get to experience these old fighting games. What's the fighting game that the king is it the King of Fighters?
Virtua Fighter.
Virtua Fighter, dude. Oh my god, that game, I got so wrapped up in it in so many past Yakuza games. It's so hard when you get like closer to the last few fighters, when you're doing the ladder or the 10 round beat 'em. It's so much fun, but it's so hard, and I love it because it's the old school hard that's so fun. But in terms of the more recent titles, I try to not stay away from mini games, because being a completionist, I I I stopped trying to complete a Yakuza. The only Yakuza game that I completed, quote unquote, and I got the platinum for, was Yakuza 7 Like a Dragon. And
What?
wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Who just entered into the voice chat?
Stop the cap.
Who that be? Oh, look at him.
let me let me just apologize really quickly. So okay, this is what happened.
What's up?
This is what happened.
I mean, we would explain what happened, but you can give your side of the story too.
Nah. Those are lies. Those are lies and accusations that have no basis of truth. Okay. So let's set the record straight right there. I don't know what you guys said, but let me tell you right there, that's cap. That's cap. But no. Seriously, like it's 2 days in a row at 10. And then today, my alarm actually went off at 10, and then I looked at my phone and I was like, why do I have to wake up at 10 today? And then it didn't register with me that it was the fucking podcast, that's why. And then I looked at my phone and I said snooze, alright, and went back to bed. So that's my bad. That's my bad.
Damn.
Man, I legit got worried. Like we got worried from it because since Thursday you hadn't responded, and we're like, wait a minute, you good?
Oh, you thought I got like gunned down in the street or something?
That's it, though, man. And maybe you got.
Hey, man, it's Florida. I was thinking you got eaten by an alligator or something. I don't know.
Yeah, man. Them caimans.
No, honestly, speaking of Florida, man, I just saw this video of this alligator climbing a fence, man. That messed me up, man, for a week.
Exactly. See, that's why we're worried about you. See, to be honest though, well, I believe like my story a little more, right?
Oh my god.
Yeah. The snooze on the alarm clock is it's a little too typical.
I'm gonna listen back to this podcast, and I bet it's gonna be some bullshit.
In any case, man, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, what are you guys talking about?
Well, we were just talking about Lost Judgment, real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. And then because I've been playing it and it's fantastic. But we talked about OLED Switch. We talked about Metroid Dread. Basically, we're kind of like in our what we were playing phase, and I was just finishing up Lost Judgment before Walt finished up his thoughts, and then you get into what you've been playing.
Did you guys talk about the yeah, I'm cackling over here, man. The Nintendo Switch expansion pass price?
No, we did not. We did not.
You guys, we should absolutely talk about that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, finish what you were saying, then we can get into that.
What I was saying is that I only completed Yakuza 7, platinumed it, because one of it didn't have a trophy that was tied to the completion list in game, which that's what's always dreadful for me, because it includes like beating X amount of mahjong matches, or winning X amount of yen in this match, or doing this type of hand in poker, or doing this in blackjack. And it's so, again, it's possible. I know that in Bloody Knox in Level 1 Gaming, he's actually completed Yakuza games, and he's learned to play mahjong, and he's actually like completed these lists. But he is like on a whole different level of loving this franchise, which I love it, but I don't go that far in commitment. I want to have fun. My patience is only so much for those games when it comes to like table games and whatnot. But with Lost Judgment, being a bit more a shorter experience from what it sounds like, I'm even more excited to get through Judgment and then Lost Judgment, because honestly, it's not going to be that long of a journey, but it's going to be one that I can make it as long as I want and enjoy it. Because with Yakuza
exactly.
Yakuza games usually they take, of course, a lot, and I mean just getting through the story, because there's so many cutscenes, and I don't hate that. I love that, actually.
Well, but, I mean, get your popcorn out for this one too. You're gonna be getting through some cutscenes.
I'm for it, bro. And with the PS5, those cutscenes look extra crispy, extra beautiful.
Yeah, the character models do look really they look leagues and bounds better than what we saw in the PS4 version.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And like, I mean, PS5 it leaps and bounds. It's so great. I'm glad we got it. Again, you can wait. You can still wait. You don't have to get it, but if you had the chance to spend that $500, go for it, because it's a fantastic console. But yeah, man, that for Lost Judgment, I can't wait to get my hands on it. I'm glad you got to finally get your knuckles on some bullies.
Yeah.
Hey, yo.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I'm excited. It's kind of like, I feel like that's my Saturday routine a little bit. It's like whenever we're doing
Beat
the
up some
podcast, exactly. Beat up some bullies after I play some 14, because like Saturday is like that kind of day where like I just want to chill out and get lost into Lost Judgment. So, but yeah,
Heck yeah, man.
yeah. What have you been playing, Jay? To kind of cap off our segment here.
It's pretty much just same. I still haven't touched Deathloop, which is funny.
Ooh,
But
thanks.
yeah, I think honestly, I think it might be Lost, boys. I think it might be just like Lost in the Wind. Just
Oh, are
something
you
that
gonna put it down?
I haven't gone back to it in like 2 weeks, so
Ah,
I feel
damn.
like that tells me all I need to know. I've been playing Kena and Dishonored 2 more, so yeah,
Wow.
I think that definitely tells me all that I need to know. Yeah, just
No
for
more
whatever
Deathloop?
reason. Yeah, I guess so. Just for whatever reason, I don't feel like motivation or like incentive to really like see it through. Like I honestly, I feel like I mentioned this too in an earlier podcast, but I feel like uh gameplay hour, like let's say 5, feels really no different than gameplay hour like 20, where I'm at with that game. Like I feel like I've done, like I've been there, done that. Like I've seen and I've done everything, gameplay wise, and there's nothing that's really switching it up or changing it. And again, it's because you're going through the same levels over and over and over again. Some of them change a little, like some new areas within those levels will open up or they'll close depending on the time of day, but they're still relatively the same places. So it's like the more that you go through them, the more tired that they kind of become, right? Because you're just kind of it's I think even Downey's review on Longnet, like the title of his review was like the joy of repetitiveness or something like that.
Oh yeah, yeah, I
And
did read that.
yeah, and I'm feeling just purely repetitiveness.
Yeah.
So
Returnal's
yeah.
great.
What do you mean, man?
I mean, Returnal. No, we're talking about
What are you
repetitive
trying to
games.
say?
No, Returnal is a game
difference?
it's different, but it's definitely a loop game, which is the
Yeah.
point that Returnal, at least its formula and the way it tackles a death loop, because it does have a death loop, where it being and it's tied to the lore just like Deathloop, but it does it in a way that's more. It works, it
Hey,
just
man.
works.
Macho, this guy got jokes, man. He got
I think,
jokes.
I think
Hey,
he's-
man.
It's because he didn't beat it yet. That's why, scrub.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but like
I'm
like
just
Walt,
kidding.
to,
I'm just kidding.
like Walt, to that point, I think
Yeah.
I would feel the same way as I do
Yeah.
with Deathloop about Returnal if and this isn't a brag, or maybe it is actually, but I only died 7 times in Returnal. So if I died like 15 or like 20 times and I had to redo some of those levels over and over and over again, and 100% I think I would feel the same way. But the fact that I think the first level was really the place that I saw the most. I died there probably like 3 or 4 times, and after that it was
Right.
pretty much smooth sailing. Like I was experiencing like level 5 and level 6 for the first time. Like I didn't die in those places.
Right.
So, yeah,
I guess
yeah.
I'm so conditioned by FromSoft to die and know the extent of my patience. So when I die in a video game, I already have like a point where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stop playing now because I know if I keep playing, I'm gonna hate this game for today. So like Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro, they all taught me how to like balance my playtime in a game when I keep repeating and repeating and repeating. So with Returnal, although I've died a couple times. I haven't died as much with bosses, but I've died a lot in the general areas.
Yeah, I died a lot in those areas too.
It's hard. No, it is hard, and it does get repetitive. But for me, it's fun enough, and there's enough redeeming factors that I don't mind the repetitiveness. Again.
See,
With Dark Souls, and at least not even at least, you don't have a like good way or easy way for you to like die and immediately get into the boss battle. Sometimes you have to go through a whole level again to get to the boss battle because the checkpoint was so far back. And I'm just so conditioned by that. I love the series so much, and I know it's some BS sometimes. I'm so conditioned there that when I play Returnal, I guess I cut it some slack because I didn't mind it as much. I don't know.
See, the key difference is that the enemies in those games are challenging, and it's fun to go through them, and it always feels like they're pushing you
Yes.
in like unexpected, or they're making you kind of like they keep you on your toes, and that's not the case with Deathloop at all. Once you get like some decently like even average weapons in that game, if you get your hands like on a green gun or a blue gun, like it doesn't
Right.
even have to be the most rare items in that game, and you'll be set. Like no one really poses a threat in that game. Even the bosses, the quote unquote bosses, don't even pose a threat. So that only adds to the repetitiveness because you feel like you're like almost like going through the motions, but like you don't even break a sweat when you're going through these areas because you can mess them up without even batting an eye. So
It's
that,
insane how what you're describing of your experience with Deathloop is like the epitome of what we've discussed previously in terms of like what makes a video game with like constant variables in it fun. Like Macho and I touched on how bosses in Metroid Dread feel larger than life and they feel like a boss. And I was telling him how Gary Whitta mentioned how why are we still doing bosses in video games and why are we still like why isn't there like a different kind of challenge? And I think that when bosses are done like that, when they're larger than life, Shadow of the Colossus, when they're Returnal, when they're these entities that are just they reign upon everything else in the map or in the area, that's when you know you have a good game. But you talk about Deathloop and it's like it doesn't do that. It's like it doesn't feel from the sounds of it, it doesn't sound like a boss,
they're
like a true
literally
boss.
they're literally like regular obviously they have personalities and they're actually characters, but like they're the same as regular enemies in the sense of if you walk behind them and stealth stab them, they'll die. If you just normally shoot them with a few headshots, they'll die. There's nothing too special about them aside from one can make clones of themselves, one can turn invisible, one is hiding in a recording studio. You open the door, come behind him, and then you stab him, and then that's it. Like they don't have a giant health bar, they don't have stage, like they're not multi-stage fights. They're really just like normal enemies with like little quirks, and that's really about it. But the last thing I'll say is that like I'm playing Dishonored 2 right now, and I'm still in like the first major level, and I'm having way more fun in this. Like it's not even like the enemies are like really tough because I think I said this last podcast that I'm playing like a ghost run, which is like specifically you can't kill anyone and you can't be detected. But where the difficulty lies is you trying to get through these large labyrinthian sort of levels without being detected, and it's tough because there's so many guards. They can spot you really really easily. And I don't know, it's like a little puzzle trying to figure out, okay, where should I go? Can I risk knocking out this guard? Will that other guard see me? Where should I hide the bodies? Like it's all these things that you have to think about, and I don't know, I really enjoy putting that puzzle together. And just the stealth in Deathloop is nowhere near as deep and exciting and fun to figure out as it is in Dishonored 2. But yeah, that's the last thing I'll say about that. That's pretty much all I've been playing.
Nice, nice. Okay, cool, cool. Well, then as Soul will say, we'll get into the podcast proper. So, what we had on
Hold,
deck. What were you gonna say?
hold on, you guys just started the podcast?
Well, we talked about OLED Switch and all that stuff, so that was kind of like bleeding to the topics. The only other topic that we had, that honestly, that we were thinking about talking about was DC fandom. But if you have anything else in mind, yeah, we can either get into DC fandom or whatever you
Kingdom
have.
Hearts.
I mean, nah, I only had because obviously we had different plans today, but I mean, the only other thing that really happened was the online expansion pack.
Yeah, let's get it. So you want to start? You want to kick it off?
Yeah. All right, so this comes from Polygon. trying to see where. Okay, so the Nintendo Switch Online, the service that lets Switch owners play multiplayer games online and offers access to a library of classic NES and Super NES games. It was revealed that the Online Plus expansion pack, which Nintendo announced in September, will cost $50 for an individual membership and $80 for a family membership for a year. And Nintendo's launching this in October 25th. So, comparing this to the standard Nintendo Online subscription, that costs $20 for a year, and then the family pack is $35 for a year. So, it was funny to me because I was listening. There's one, I'm not going to name the podcast, but there was one, they try to hide it, but they're definitely a Nintendo podcast. They were saying, oh, well, if it's just like a $5 or even like a $10 price increase, then I'll be okay with it, and I think people will be okay with it too. To find out this thing's a $30 increase, man.
Damn.
It's a $30 increase
to play old ass games.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing, man. Is that like, yeah, cool. It's cool seeing these games included in this service and whatever. But there are better versions of these games out there. Like Ocarina just got a remake, right? And there's other games that have received remasters or even fully blown remakes. So it's like I really don't understand why you would go back to pay $30 more to play probably the worst versions of these games as they exist right now. That's arguable to some people for sure. I know there's people that like, I guess the old original forms of these games, but I don't know. That's my biggest thought is like you're paying more to play a lesser version of these games when there's arguably better versions out there.
Yeah, I mean, including like the Castlevania collection. I think on that N64 or Genesis like lineup of games, like Castlevania, which one was it? It was Castlevania Bloodlines. That's what it was. And I have no idea what kind of version they're using. If it's actually like the Anniversary Collection or anything like that, or the Requiem of the Night or something like that, whatever that collection is. I have no idea, but all I know is that whenever you go into the SNES app on Nintendo Switch, you are able to basically halt the game and pause it and save where you are to come back to it later. So there are convenient features to it. But to your point, yeah, it's essentially versions of games that are, there are better versions out there to play.
Yeah, it's like people that, again, everyone has their preferences, but I don't know how. Unless you're literally reliving the past, it's like playing the original Resident Evil over the remake. Like the remake is so polished, it plays so well. The environments are so well constructed, so well remade, and you can pick between. And here's the magic: you can pick between tank or not tank controls. Because let's face it, I don't know y'all, but I do not like tank controls. When you give me the option of playing the alternative, I'm all for it. And I know that accessibility is huge for people. But then you have the side that's more elitist. No, you have to be pure with the game. You have to leave it in its essence. And I don't know if this is more gears toward like purists, Nintendo purists, which again, I don't know why you would play it, again, like Jay mentioned, a lesser version of a video game. But again, it's lesser for us, but maybe there's someone that considers it the true way. I don't know. It's like playing. It's like imagine, Macho, if you didn't have that save feature, like you wouldn't be having as much fun as you're having probably because it'd be more tense.
No, it's I would not be finishing Castlevania games if it didn't have the quick save. That's a fact.
Yeah,
this game will make you backtrack, and it's like I told you before, Castlevania 3, like the difficulty spike and like the last third of the game is nuts, and I would not be completing the stages if it wasn't for quick save feature.
And that's the thing, right? Like you want to enjoy the game, and when they give you options, they ain't go for it. And like to Jay's point, one of the games that's included in this pass, Ocarina of Time, do you have what I would? How many say that Chrono Trigger for DS is the like definitive edition to experience Chrono Trigger? I think Ocarina of Time on DS. That's it. That is the way to play it. I mean, that's like the most optimal way of playing Ocarina of Time. Again, you can play it on the OG console. You can play it on this one. But why? And the problem is not that you have the option. It's the pricing. Like, how expensive was it to bring these games to the Switch?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we have certain blue check marks on Twitter breaking down how much you'd be paying per month for a family plan. I'm like, dude, I don't care. At the end of the day, they're not enhancing the experience of the online by any sort of margin to warrant you paying an extra money for it. You're basically it's honestly it's kind of sad to see that kind of defense. I mean, like, if you were paying $2 X a month for like these amount of games, I'm like, okay, what about voice chat? What about basic friendship requests?
Actual good internet? What about actually good servers?
Yeah, like they just upgraded from Windows 94. Windows 94, like, come on, dude. Like, it's not that hard to figure out.
Playing an online Mario Kart match in a Switch? Nah.
Yeah.
You know how many disconnecting problems you have? Like, how many times you disconnect from the damn match? Dude, it's insane.
Yeah. I mean, next week we're gonna actually have someone on the podcast that's a Smash Bros. Player that can talk to more of like the online feature stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, even to that point with Smash Brothers, don't even think about going online.
Bro,
like,
no,
it's horrible.
I did it once
it's
and I regret
horrible.
it. No, it's abysmal. It's abysmal.
Yeah, so it's weird. It's weird how people are kind of like justifying the price of it.
No, man. Here's the thing. I love PlayStation. I love it. I love the games. I love it. I don't love them because I don't know them. I know the company, but I love the product. But I can't in good faith justify and say that their cross-save, multi-generational save feature is better than Xbox. That's not the fact. In PlayStation, you have to go to your cloud, download the data, install the data, and then load it up into the game. And sometimes you have to go into the PS4, load up and download that data there, and then download it on the PS5. What do you do with Xbox? With a smart delivery? You finish on the Xbox One, buy yourself a Series X, and you keep going where you left off. You know? There's certain things that I can in good faith say that PlayStation does better than the other one. So, like, why is it like for Nintendo sometimes, and I get this is for every fandom, you get that group of people that are just like defending it, the something that doesn't merit defending, you know?
Yeah, this is just blatant ripoff, honestly.
Yeah, no, like the fanboy / girl like mentality, it truly exceeds, especially on Twitter. A lot of clowning, my guy.
Yeah, I see it, like, people rightfully so are calling them out for this, which they deserve.
Yeah, they should.
And it's just funny to me because we kind of saw something like this happen with Xbox when they tried to double the price of Xbox Live. They immediately backtracked, literally within the same day. I don't think Nintendo's gonna backtrack on this at all because people are gonna buy this.
People are already what was it, the Genesis and N64 controllers that they're pricing at $50 each. That's already sold out. Those are already sold out.
Jesus Christ!
You can't get them.
Look at with Skyward Sword. Like, people bashed that shit to the ground. They said, "Oh my God, the worst Zelda! Oh, the worst Zelda! Oh, it's coming! It's and it's $60 full price." That was sold out. The pre-orders were sold out. The controllers were nowhere to be found. Like, it's such an interesting fandom because it's like they're so obvious, you know? Yeah. Like it's hilarious. It's hilarious. I don't know.
Yeah,
I have a fun time.
Again, I know it's kind of a little contradictory of me to kind of bash Nintendo after just buying this OLED Switch.
The OLED.
Oh man.
But at the same time, I as I talked about it before, that it's a justified purchase for me, for sure. It's fantastic. But something like this where it just is so blatant, like they're not even improving like their online service. And it looks like they have no intention to. So why should we give them more money? That's ridiculous to me.
It's insane.
Yeah. It's And the funny thing is that it's now it's put them in the place where this specific package is $10 more than the competition, than both PS Plus and Xbox Live for a year. So that's also a really weird move, that you're coming out with a new sort of subscription thing that is more expensive, and yeah, that people are seem to be a little bit more happy with, versus this. So I don't know. It's really,
they capitalize
it's really
nostalgia. That's like their big marketing in the past couple of years. It's just nostalgia. Like that's all. That's their big factor. That's all the shady. Whenever we criticize their moves, market wise and like promotion wise and just product wise, you always see that the big factor in it's nostalgia. Look at the Super Mario collection. It was only being sold for a specific amount of time, but what games did it contain? It contained old games. It contained old school games. More Wii centric games and GameCube centric games. Like, and people love it because it reminds them of a time where they probably have good memories of. And what do we call that? Nostalgia. They reminds them of the past. And I think Nintendo, they know how to do it. I give them props. They know how to capitalize nostalgia. But golly, it's like, what do you call it's like Thanos. Like, at what cost, Or like Gamora. At what cost, man? Like, come on. What did it cost?
Everything.
Nostalgia. Everything.
Everything.
But yes. My boy Macho got that OLED. It justifies his personal needs, and that's what matters. As long as it justifies your personal needs, we're good. But it doesn't stop us from clowning on these companies.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe Jay will get a Switch now. I'm kidding.
Hey, for that Metroid Dread, man, that's a worthy purchase.
True.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'm reading Reddit right now, and people are saying almost PS Plus prices without any of the perks. One person said, yeah, I'm just trying to see like other ones. Yeah, people are just pissed. People are just pissed.
Of course they are. Of course they are. Like, they're bitter. They're bitter, but at the same time, they keep buying.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the unfortunate thing, is that Nintendo's reach goes like not only so far, but it's so like rooted in nostalgia as well for people, that like things like this. I mean, we saw, you brought up the Zelda thing, and then we saw it with Pokemon, we saw it with various other things, that like something to us, or like the general gaming populace, looks at and kind of goes, that's pretty shitty, but it still ends up being sold out, or like number 2 on MPD or whatever. So I expect the same thing to happen with this.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty much all that we have to say regarding that. It's pretty ridiculous. Again, which is funny, if PlayStation and Xbox tried this, man, they would be like burned. They would be raked over the goddamn coals, man. So it feels good, man. It feels like everything is in order. Seeing Nintendo catch some of this heat too,
Yeah, again, we'll see if they actually change it. I don't know. They're pretty rigid.
I don't think they will.
But, if we thought PlayStation would have, like, how we compared, the origins of PlayStation being more the culture in Japan, and how like the business mentality is so different from the West, and how Xbox and PlayStation, they're night and day in certain things. Nintendo is so like ingrained in like Japanese business culture and whatnot, that for them to like budge in a decision, it's harder. I think it's harder there than it is in PlayStation, which I think is why like sometimes Nintendo, like certain decisions, the fandom can be like, no, but wait, change it. They're like, all right, no game for you then. No, wait, I want the game. All right, here you go. It's still $60, by the way. And they're like, dang it, okay, gosh darn it. Oh well, but hey, Jay's gonna get that OLED.
You wish, man.
Hey man, play that. We got to play some Smash Online, bro.
Yeah, no, tell me about it. Yeah, we'll definitely be talking about that for next week for sure. But yeah, if you guys has that's all you guys want to say, we can move on to the final topic, I guess.
Did you really quickly? Did you guys see what's it called? The PlayStation Japan play live stream?
I did not, but I did see a screen. I did see a tweet rather that there are only 2 screenshots of Elden Ring.
Yeah. There was 2 new screenshots. Something that looked like Elden Ring's version of the lanterns or the bonfires. So Walt, you should definitely check that out.
Oh, I'm looking that up as we speak right now.
Was there anything? Yeah, was there anything new that came from that play other than that?
I'm sure like some details when the streamers were talking about the games with some of the because there was also what's it called Dragon Quest 10
Offline.
yeah, offline was like shown there. The gameplay was revealed for the first time. So obviously, yeah, that was something there that happened. But like Horizon was also like at the show, but I don't think anything like really new came from it. So.
Oh, I'm looking at the pictures right now for Elden Ring, and it's the one where he's riding the horse, and there's like a flying demon, and then the one with the bonfire, their version of the bonfire. Which in this case, I don't know the name of the bonfire, but I know that instead of Ashen One or Hunter, it's the Tarnished or something like that. So I don't know what the thing. It's lighting up. It'll definitely be a safe haven, but hey, it's good to see some more Elden Ring. I love after years of just nothing. I'm glad that we're finally getting things.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping for some gameplay, honestly.
Yeah, nah.
But I guess I was hoping too much.
Don't do that.
Yeah, you're definitely hoping a little bit too much, especially with this.
Yeah, especially the game releasing in 3 months, right?
Hey man, they at least they already got previews. Journalists already got to see the game, so it's real. So don't deny that.
I'm not journalist. I'm not journalist. I want gameplay.
Hey, gameplay. Well, we'll get it, man. Man. Let Miyazaki do his thing, man. Let him get
True.
Miyazaki and George.
But yeah, so what was the last thing you wanted to talk about?
The last topic was DC Fandom. I wanted to get some people's predictions for what could be announced gameplay wise. Ed Boon's supposed to make an appearance there as well, on top of the announcements regarding Suicide Squad. That's what it is. Kill the Justice League. And Gotham Knights, which is a game I'm heavily anticipating. I've always wanted a Bat family video game, especially after the success of the Batman Arkham trilogy and as well as Origins. And I want to get like some of your predictions, what you think is going to show up there, what surprises. If you guys are DC fans, if there's anything maybe you're looking forward to, maybe just like with the new Batman movie, just something a little different for DualShock Sense here. But let me know what you guys think. So do you have any predictions or something you're looking forward to?
I have no dog in this race, man. I've never played any of the Arkham games.
What? Wow, really?
Never played any of them. In terms of Batman, I'm like not the most like familiar with it. Like I got like obviously I watched the Nolan films, and that's pretty much it. I'm way more. I can't even say that I'm more into Spider-Man because I didn't watch any of the Amazing movies or the Tom Holland stuff either. So,
only Sam Raimi.
Yeah, only Sam Raimi.
I mean,
wow.
It's gold.
Yeah, so I don't really have a dog in this race, but obviously, yeah, we'll probably see Injustice 3. And then aside from that, Kill the Justice League. I don't know, man. I'm kind of disappointed that game took it's more like a multiplayer kind of thing.
Same, yeah. I really hate that they gave Harley Leia buns.
Really, I kind of like her.
Yeah, the Leia buns just they don't tickle my fancy. All right, they just don't tickle that fancy. And
but you know what does tickle my fancy? Seeing Selena Kyle, man.
Yo,
Hey, yo.
yo.
Hey, yo. I got leather, huh?
Someone's like, "Yo, she's a perfect Catwoman because she already stole my heart." I'm like, "Shut up."
Hey, yo.
Yeah, I know. That's a right kind of casting right there.
Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, that's all I got to say about it.
All right, well, what about you, man?
Listen, man. With both of these games, they both deliver very different things when they were first announced. With Suicide Squad, I'm interested to just seeing gameplay. I just want to see how this game looks more in depth and more like what doesn't in why do I want to play this game? You know, what's gonna be the hook? That's what I want to figure out. And with Gotham Knights, it's just what I saw. It looked good, but it wasn't enough to catch my attention. And I think we only got to see Batgirl and I think it was Nightwing. We didn't get to see everyone.
No, in the trailer you got to see just about everybody. Yeah, you got to see just about everybody.
But they did a whole mission with Mr. Freeze with just two of them. Which again, that is the idea of the game, which is only a co-op game where you can choose between like these four individuals. Am I crazy about it? No, but I'm keeping my eye on it. You know, it's interesting enough where I actually like I'm looking forward to seeing more of it and having a reason to purchase it. And like, hey, maybe we get into some co-op. You know, Macho? I don't know. Maybe we.
Oh hell yeah!
We get into some shenanigans in the Batverse. With the more recent rise in popularity with the Batman Who Laughs, it would be insane if they made an event in these games or like a stage in these games where you fight the Batman Who Laughs. That would be insane. I don't know what these games are going to be rated. Have they been rated? I don't know.
I don't think so.
If they're going to bring the Batman Who Laughs, that has to be an M-rated game because it's a. How do you include this thing with it being like T? You know, I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like if they're gonna include the Batman Who Laughs, that seems like its own thing,
like its own event. Like
yeah, like or even like its own centerpiece of a game. Honestly, kind of like how Arkham Knight really centered around.
Yes.
You know the fact that it's. I'm not gonna spoil it because she hasn't played them yet, but. It's really like its own event, you know what I mean? Like as far as like that reveal.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a good point. I think that if they were to make another Arkham something, or just another Batman Center universe game, Batman Who Laughs would definitely be a fantastic center piece in that storyline or plot. But in this case. I want more information. I just want more information. Is there progression? How does it look? Am I incentivized? Are there gonna be microtransactions? Are there gonna be fucking boosters or some shit? Is there gonna be leveling up? Is it gonna be Injustice 2 situation where you get more gear and the gear's tied to your level, like Destiny? You know, like what's it gonna be? Am I gonna customize my boy? Can I make Shark King look like a maniac? You know, like
yeah, I don't know. Yes, I know. That's what I was saying. That's what I was thinking before too. Where Soul touched on before, like, yeah, it's like it's a little disappointing when multiplayer route because I was disappointed too just to hear that. And on top of that, like a game like this, like the characters, what I'm going to be tied to, and obviously Harley Quinn's one of my favorite fictional characters in the DC universe. But her design, I'm just not feeling at all, and so I feel disconnected in that way. Where like, and it's really because of the Leia buns, man. Like, it looks so goofy. I don't like it.
Man, maybe she takes them off. I don't know. Like, maybe she.
I don't know, man.
Maybe you can get her different hairstyles. You know.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully we'll find out today. But in that case, yeah. I mean, King Shark looks. He looks too skinny. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, after seeing
the movie.
Weird. After seeing the movie, it's like I want that chunky boy.
Yeah,
game,
yeah, like he's like he's a freaking shark. Like I get like he's like I don't know if he's like part man or I don't know the lore behind it.
I think he's like a demigod or something. He's like a very like up there being like in the
Yeah,
universe.
because his body in the game is like it's like he's a muscular dude, but like he looks like he's like half human. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it looks more like not the fish version of a furry than like an actual like shark like on legs, you know.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah.
In terms of interesting, you know, I like how you went. You don't like Leia Buns and Jay likes it. Like, do y'all have like a favorite version of Harley? Because we've had like a couple.
Man, that's a tough one.
It is. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, because there's a lot of like great ones. Not really one like I intrinsically prefer. Because all of them I really liked, honestly. I liked like the Jester or the Harlequin Harley. Obviously because that's like the Batman animated show. That's like
Yeah,
that's
the OG where she.
Yeah, that's where she was born.
From.
Essentially, yeah, that's where she was born. And then obviously Margot Robbie was like a dream come true casting for me.
Amen.
Because as soon as I saw her in Wolf of Wall Street and she was pulling off her I think it was a Brooklyn accent if I'm not mistaken. I immediately just thought of like, oh my god, like she's the perfect Harley Quinn if they ever casted her for that. And she got casted and she was phenomenal in any Harley Quinn movie that she was in, whether it be Birds of Prey, Suicide Squad, or The Suicide Squad. She was great in every one of them.
Absolutely.
And then obviously Tara Strong, right? Tara Strong
is
that
one.
And in the Batman Arkham trilogy, with her in the nurse outfit, and eventually you got the more hardcore outfit in Arkham City. Ooh. And then and even I think was she in Arkham Knight? I think she was. I can't remember.
Which?
I think she was.
Split second.
I think she was in one of the DLCs. I remember that where she got more of like a hardcore edge to her.
There is a DLC where you get to use her.
Yeah, there is that too. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's not one like I really like prefer, like honestly, because even the Kaylee Cuoco version of Harley Quinn and her own TV show, that one's really good. That's a great Harley.
Yeah.
Completely unfiltered. Yeah, she's hilarious. But yeah, this one's just not doing for me as far as like design. It looks really weird. I'm not really big on it.
Hey man, I mean maybe today they'll convince you otherwise. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean as far as that, kill the Justice League, the Suicide Squad game. We'll see what comes from that. But yeah, the Bat Family is they're coming in full force. That first trailer that came out, I think it was last year, if I'm not mistaken. That just basically. Yeah, it was just basically like Bruce Wayne coming on the intercom and basically like announcing that he's dead, and like if you see this message it's because I'm dead, and like this is what Gotham is now in your hands now.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. But then you see like the entire like Bat family like ready to gear up. Yes, I'm like, all right, it's our time now. Like that was awesome. That was such a great reveal trailer.
Because it's a feat, right? It's how do you take up the challenge? It's like maybe you won't surpass this man, but you need all four of you to even do a fraction of what he used to do.
Yeah, so it's incredible. I can't wait.
I want to see more of it. I want to see more of the villains, because that's something with superhero centric just mediums. Villains are a huge part of it, of course. I mean, hero villain. That's like the whole point. So like I really want to see more. Like we saw Mr. Freeze. I want to see like maybe other missions where you tackle more major villains, or even just small scale villains. I don't know what the center point of this video game will be. I don't know if they mentioned like what the whole plot line, how it's going to be moved. I know it's just chaos in Gotham, but I'm not sure where they're going with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping to get, like a nice gameplay preview, more extended look at like how the game's been updated, because it was originally supposed to come out this year, and it actually got pushed back to 2022. So I expect like a release date, for both of the games. I think what was it? Suicide Squad was planned for 2023. I think they said in the initial trailer.
God damn.
I believe so.
I think so.
Yeah. God damn, indeed.
Yeah, they announced it pretty early because Rocksteady's been dormant for a long time.
Yeah. Roxas?
No, Rocksteady. Rocksteady.
Oh,
Jesus Christ, get your ears cleaned out, man.
Not this man. We talk about fucking rocks.
Nah, it's okay. I know my lore. I'm not confused. Well, but yeah, we'll see what comes out of it, man. I've been excited for DC Fandom for quite a while now. Ever since they said they're gonna do it again. They did some great reveals last time, so I'm looking forward to see what they have here, which actually is starting right now. So we're gonna end the podcast, guys. So it's great.
Oh man,
No, I'm just kidding.
Look at him taking charge, man.
But yeah, no, that was kind of it what I have for DC Fandom. We'll see what comes out of it today. So
Yeah, for sure. I don't really have anything else to add. Although I will say that because Walt asked, what our favorite what's the word versions of Harley.
Yeah.
There's a word for that. It starts with an I. I can't think of it. I was gonna go somewhere else, but whatever. Anyway, but versions. No, it's not. No, it's not like that.
we needed late night souls for him to answer that one.
Oh man,
Get that mind out of the gutter, boy.
I want to apologize to Harley Quinn, man. I wasn't gonna say anything like that. These two over here, on the other hand, they were taking it, in a direction I didn't want it to go.
Exactly.
But anyway,
Wait, who said that?
Yeah. See, congratulations, you played yourself, man.
You're playing yourself.
Wait, who said that?
But the version of Harley from the Harley Quinn animated series, with her and Poison Ivy. That show's
Yeah, the
really,
Kid
really funny.
Cuoco one.
Oh.
Yeah. That show's really, really funny, and I really like her version a lot.
Yeah, it's a complete raunchy version of Harley Quinn. It's kind of hilarious, honestly, in all sense.
It's funny.
And it feels so grounded. I love it when you get to see villains in like their not natural habitat, but just like their day-to-day lives. You know?
Exactly.
Just getting ready for the day. Like what do they eat? Where do they buy groceries? How do they get their clothing? Like all these mundane things of a villain, because you usually see them in just plotting, rubbing them hands like Birdman. Like what are we gonna do today? It's like,
I mean that's sort of Harley Quinn, because like ever since she ended things with the Joker in that show, her entire season 1, I think the plot was just her how am I gonna become the best bad guy. And it eventually boils down to them just doing random stuff every episode, just trying to get noticed for these ragtag group of nobodies, and it's ends up being hilarious every time.
Yeah, love it, fucking love it.
So hopefully you get season 3 actually, because I think it ended with season 2 so far.
Yeah, I hope so too. But that I guess that does it for DC Fandom. We'll see shortly what they have in store for us. But yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for the podcast. So originally, before I had my let's call it an accident. Before I had my accident,
we call it that too, actually.
Hey, man. What's going on here, man? We were planning to do a show centered around PlayStation All-Stars, kind of putting together our individual lists of 16 characters that need to be in the sequel. We will do that in a subsequent podcast, hopefully. It seems like we're still kind of in that lull period of gaming. I expect that to probably happen until we get closer to the Game Awards, so probably November, I would assume, is when we start seeing some interesting things happening around the industry. And then December is obviously the Game Awards. But
which question, Jay?
Go ahead.
Are we doing anything for that? Are we gonna watch that? We're gonna just talk about it? Anything planned for that?
Oof, that's a 3-hour show, man.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, man. Jeff Keighley likes his long shows.
He likes to talk, I know.
Yeah, plus we probably can't even stream that because any copyright music.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's right. That is right.
Yeah. So we were planning to do that this podcast, but we'll definitely do it in another podcast for sure. That's pretty much it for this week's podcast. I want to thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We would greatly appreciate that. We're gonna get started with these outros before we head out. So Masha, why don't you kick things off for us, man?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So it's a good podcast. Thank you for jumping in, Jay. I was getting a little winded, honestly. Because I'm trying to actually concentrate on 14 and do everything. But yeah, man.
It's tough, man.
Yeah. He's definitely split your mind here. But yeah, great podcast, great topics. Looking forward to DC Fandome and just keep playing Lost Judgment and Scar Next on PS5 and Metroid Dread, man. It's been a fun, varied gaming week, so I'm looking forward to continue that to this weekend. And yeah, man, I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay I've been for Final Fantasy 14 here. I don't need to advertise it because you already get a full advertisement for the past 2 hours, so you're welcome.
I know
Yes,
my biggest regret today missing the podcast isn't even necessarily like missing the podcast. It's the fact that you got to advertise FF14 so much today.
The entire time here, which is great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be laying awake at night thinking about that.
Great, because I want you to also think about this quick message too, just in case you haven't heard of the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy 14. It's been with expanded free trial and Cruise of Realm Reborn. You guys already know the words, so come on now. It's been some time here.
Hey, man,
Free?
You should go ahead and get that tattooed on yourself, man. Since you like to say it so much.
Even better, I got it tattooed on the cup.
Oh, man.
It's always with me. But nah, it's been a fun podcast, man. Catch you guys next week.
You go to sleep with that cup next to you too?
A little bit. Wait, who said that?
I hope your girl heard that.
Oh, she already knows. Every time I was like, "Have you heard, babe?" The recently experience, she's like, stop it."
Oh man. But yeah, whoa. What about you, man? What's going on?
Hey man, this was fun. I legit was getting worried. I'm glad you jumped in and gave some talking points because it's always great to have everyone's input. I'll tell them there at the club that you arrived well and that you didn't stay by the trash bags laying there, just sleeping.
Is this the propaganda you guys were spreading?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't say anything like that.
Who said that?
Man.
Yeah, I didn't say that. What?
Oh man.
But hey man, gonna get my hands on that Metroid Dread. Gonna get through it. It's having a blast. Gonna be playing more. I want to play more. I'm gonna be playing more. I finally have a schedule. I'm sticking to it. Just doing my thing. But yeah, man, more Switch time, more PlayStation, more what do you call it? God dang it, more Judgment. Yes, more Judgment on the PlayStation because I want to get my hands on that Lost Judgment. But also, it's a fun time. But yeah, good podcast, good topics, fun all around. We started with that smoke. We end it with that great ember. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
The
Yeah.
nice little cinder.
Yeah.
And Jay came in just in time to inhale a little bit of the smoke so he could help filter it.
Oh yeah, Jay. By the way, I got Alexis texted me. She said to get tested.
Yeah, Alexis, Texas. Yeah.
Oh my god.
She texted me. She said get tested.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I leave a podcast for a few hours, and this is the respect I get.
Listen, man, we didn't tell you to oversleep.
Very true, very true.
But yeah, man, good stuff. What about you, Jay?
To be fair, I watched Lamb last night, so give me some credit. But yeah, so probably not much for me this week. Definitely probably gonna work on finishing Kena. Just really taking my time with that one because it's a lot of fun. Unlike some other games. So but yeah, man, that's pretty much it for me. Same old. But yeah.
I will say just a quick update for our viewers here. All three of you, we love you. But next week we're gonna actually have a guest on the podcast. One of my good friends. He's a avid Smash Bros player. So when Sora comes out, we'll bring him on, have his thoughts on Smash Bros. And, future of the franchise, stuff like that. So definitely tune in. It's gonna be a lot of fun. He's a great guy, and he's been playing Smash Bros for a long time. So I'm interested to see his take on the competitive scene and everything like that. So it'll be a fun one next week. So join in.
Cool. So yeah, we'll get you guys that next week, and yeah, for right now we're gonna end the show. Once again, thank you guys for listening, and we'll catch you guys next week. Peace out.
All right.
Yeah, hello, Alexis? Yeah, he's here.
Yeah.